Do I have a great garden for you today? You are absolutely going to love this, especially if you are a maximalist. I've showed you minimalist gardens before, but this is a courtyard maximalist garden of my good friend Janie Dupree. Janie, we have known each other for a long time. Janie is a real hero and very well known in the Oklahoma City community because of all of her work with Oklahoma City Beautiful, with the artists community, just out and about. She is truly a legend in Oklahoma City, and thank you for your service because you have done so much towards the beautification of Oklahoma City. We called them courtyard garden homes, I guess, that are in this area, and you have, this may be a small space, but boy, has she optimized it, personalized it. It has so many signature touches, and I can't wait to show them to you. So let's get started. Well, this is a perfect example of so many different things. You and I both share a real affection for gravel. You don't have any grass at all.
No grass at all.
In your small garden. Okay, now this is to the side of her house, on the south side of your home. Am I right?
You're right.
Okay. This is just a really, typically at most homes, it's underused and it's ignored. But this is kind of like a pathway garden that has a gravel base. It's got all sorts of features. And you told me that your daughter says that this is actually her favorite part of the garden.
Yes.
Yes, and it just goes to show what you can do in a small space. So here are just a number of the features that to me really stand out. The fact that it faces south means that this eastern redbud here creates absolutely gorgeous shadows on the wall. And I just love that. And it fills kind of an empty brick facade. But this redbud has a story.
This was a little seedling from the Redbud Classic. And when we brought it here 3 years ago, we'd had it in a pot, and it was probably about this tall. So in 3 years, it's grown this much.
So for those of you that don't know, the Redbud Classic is an institution here in Oklahoma City. It is a foot race that everybody who's anybody and runs wants to be involved in. And they sell these, as a fundraiser, they sell these little eastern redbuds. And this, by the way, is the type of redbud that I have that forms the canopy over my gravel deck in the back. Now, tell me about this wonderful grapevine here.
The grapevine was here when we bought the place, but it was in a different location. So when we started redoing things, we picked it up and moved it to right here. And as you can tell, in the 3 years, it has grown completely around and covers up the whole wall. And we have had grapes, and the birds seem to get them before we do.
Well, that's okay because we want to feed the birds too. And I think it's just beautiful, the color of it this time of year. It'll turn that vibrant gold. But you know what I like most about it, and that's the exposed architecture of the trunk itself. The other nice thing it does, a very unusual plant that provides you some privacy from the courtyard home next door. So I love this. I bet it's gorgeous in the spring as all of the buds, the leaf buds start to erupt. Yes.
We love this. It's because of the privacy that it gives us in this area. Although we don't spend a lot of time down here, I kind of like to come sit in the sun in the wintertime.
Which speaks that she's got little seating areas back here. Again, something uncommon in an area that most people don't exploit in their homes, but that is so important in a courtyard garden that is small from the beginning. So how much space do you think you have here?
Oh my goodness, I have no idea. It's probably 50 feet, 50 yards long here.
Okay.
maybe half a football field
And
is this length.
Okay, and the footprint of your home, you said, is about 1,800?
It's 18, close to 1,900.
1,900 square feet.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's go. Stuart's wanting us to move along. And by the way, we've also got Matt here, and who's helping us film, and also Bill, her husband, who is just puttering and doing things, making it look that much better for us. So over here, you've got a little herb garden.
Yes, yes.
And it looks like you've got some mint, you've got basil, which is still going strong here. And then, because everybody has to have a garden gnome,
That's right.
You have a
gnome.
garden gnome. She's got some chives here. Because as I said, you definitely are a maximalist.
Yes.
But you could do this, you could create something equally as beautiful in a more minimalistic, Zen kind of way if that was your style. But definitely, this is so you. So is this a crepe myrtle here?
No, I'm
Now,
not
what
sure
is
exactly
this?
what this is. It just seems to grow and grow and grow, and we keep
Question for
it.
the audience?
Yeah, okay. So it's our question of the day. What is this?
That's the Stewart question of the day.
A Stuart question of the day, and my question of the day would be, how many of you out there, you garden in all different sizes of spaces, how many of you out there garden in a courtyard type garden? You've got a pruned up, you exposed,
Holly.
a pruned up holly here.
Trying to get a good shot here. Sorry.
Can you get a good shot?
I
Okay.
believe. How are they going to tell us if they can't see?
Well, I don't know, Stuart.
Where am I going?
I don't know. Okay, you're going to show over here. Look at how beautifully. Is this a Nelly?
No, I think it's
wow.
just a Burford holly.
Wow, it's got big leaves from
Uh-huh.
Burford, and they have taken a rather, this is what I like to call romancing the ordinary. When you take something that is relatively common but very mature and you transform it into something really special, the way you have limbed it up so beautifully.
And
And then here is one of four.
4 seasons,
Four
and this is
seasons.
winter.
Oh
And
my
she
gosh.
just nestles in here, and we just let this grow around her. And then, of course, in the summertime, we have the yuccas blooming.
And oh my gosh, this is such a New Mexican kind of plant, isn't it? It's everywhere in Colorado and in Santa Fe, and I just love the scent of it. This is Russian sage, or is it what's Petrovskia, I believe?
Well, and we've cut it way back a couple of times this summer. And
Yeah.
this last cutback, we just let it grow on
Well,
up.
and look at and it's beautifully great pollinator plant. One thing about this plant, as a tip, you don't want to cut it all the way back going into winter, because it really needs to have some of the stem and the leaves to kind of protect the crown of the plant going into winter. But whack at it as much as you like in the summer, and obviously to great effect, as she's done here. Now, along this beautiful wrought iron gate that you have enclosing your property, I see you've got some hog wire here that is doing a couple of things. It is supporting climbers that you have. What is this?
Carolina jasmine.
Carolina jasmine, but it's also probably keeping some creatures out.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe some munching rabbits. And then over here, she's just tucked, which looks very nice, I have to say.
It does, for a shed.
A storage shed over here. And you
And
can
plastic shed.
just a plastic shed, but it works. It blends in very much so with the facade of your house. She's got it secured here with some metal brackets, Stuart. That's a great tip.
Should probably install your furniture.
Yeah, probably outside, unless you want to move it around.
Oh,
And oh my gosh,
this jasmine
Carolina
has been
jasmine.
blooming. Yes.
it's blooming. Now, I'm going to tell you a heartache.
What?
I had this growing up probably 60 feet into the air that I started on a neighbor's tree, and it all died back in that February minus 15 blast.
Oh.
So it can be pretty rambunctious.
So we need to mulch it.
So you need to mulch
Really
it. Though
mulch it.
normally not a problem. I hadn't done
Uh-huh.
anything to it in probably 30 years. Very practical, very attractive pattern of putting flagstone and gravel. I love this look. I love the crunch of the gravel when you walk on it. Gets really good drainage, And you don't have to worry over here about weed eating. You don't have to mow. You don't have to do anything. And if you've got little ones that visit your garden, what a fun little private
Secret
space.
place.
Secret place for them to come. And, ooh, what kind of grass is this?
Well, you know, Roger asked me what this is, and it was just something that was the prettiest color. It's a blue-gray, and I just picked it up at Lowe's, and it fills this empty, you know, an empty space, gives us a little bit more privacy from our neighbor.
And great autumn interest.
Yes.
Yes, question 2, if anybody knows what this is. Like a blue stem, it almost looks like something that would be native to the prairie. Might be hard to identify in its dried state. Stuart, get ready, because I really want everybody to see the entire length of this courtyard garden, because it is pretty spectacular. Janie, I'm going to go up here, but you just stay put, because I want to get out of the way so Stuart can show how much stuff you have very beautifully crammed. crammed into this courtyard garden, because you like a lot of different things, and you have been able to, I think, scratch that itch and really squeeze a lot into this small space. First, before I do, Stuart, can we concentrate on this area here? So this corner has really been transformed recently because of that cold blast. You've had these little gem magnolias in this corner that gave you lots of privacy, great visual weight in this corner, and made it very intimate. And then in that terrible freeze, you lost, or you thought you lost this middle one. See how much shorter it is than the others? You thought you lost it, but you did some trimming on it. Lo and behold, this is a case where you were rewarded for your patience. It came back.
It came back.
I'll be much shorter. I'll be much shorter.
Still alive.
Still alive. And very much alive, because look at the buds on this one. Right. Now you did a pineapple basket turnover, because this one was taller. And you switched positions. Is that what you did?
This one was already here when we bought the place, but it was down ground level. And John Fluitt's crew picked it up and moved it up here. Now,
tell me that again with me shooting a little wide.
Okay, this one here existed when they bought the property, but it was
ground level.
It was ground level here. So they built up this bed with a flagstone wall, which elevated it
to here.
Yes, beautifying it, increasing its stature, making it look more mature than it even is, and then you added 2 more little gem magnolias as a backdrop here.
This one, after they moved it, it had a hard time. It was very skimpy. So last spring, we really cut it back severely and cut this one back severely. And you can see there's almost 2 feet of growth on that.
Yeah, this
one has really filled.
Okay, a great takeaway tip: if something seems to be struggling, cut it back, and at the appropriate time of year, feed it. And then you have enough in the foreground and underneath the canopy of that magnolia to have season
that is
number
summer.
2.
That is summer, hiding back, and
It's even hiding from you, Stuart.
And as that magnolia fills out more, it'll be more enclosed.
Yes,
so it'll have a little shady nook for the summer.
But in the meantime, you've got some iris that you've got planted back there. That's a good southern living plant, sunshine ligustrum. And in the back layer, you've got a retaining wall that is also built up. So you've got 3 tiers of planting. You've got ground level, this midsection, which kind of invites you to come up and take a closer look at Cupid season number 2. And then you've got behind the retaining wall, there's some nandinas. Looks like a columnar cypress.
Yes.
A columnar cypress here. By the way, that's another great tip. In small gardens, they're sometimes hard to find, but columnar varieties of some of our favorite trees are just wonderful to employ and press into use in these small spaces. And then you've got what looks like some, is that a blue star juniper?
No, it's Blue Pacific.
Blue Pacific juniper coming down. You've got some Salvia greggii up in here, some Indian hawthorn,
Lamb's ear.
lamb's ear. You've got a yucca, a golden bowls yucca, I believe. And this here is a blue star. That's a blue star juniper. This is new to me, and it may be a new obsession of mine, and I may have to hunt it down. John will have to point us in the right direction. This, you guys, is a miniature Boston ivy, which is a miniature dwarf form of the Boston ivy that I've got growing on my studio in the back. But even in this area, she's got the flagstone path that courses through the garden, tells the visitor where to go, but then there's enough room for a floating garden bed, island bed in here, using the same flagstone. But then, as Bill brilliantly pointed out, two different things. And what were they? And somebody's calling Bill right now.
The hose extension?
Yes, the hose extension is kind of a natural guide for the hose extension behind the bed, which camouflages the hose. But also, this is simply brilliant when they did this design. Gave enough clearance for you guys to be able to wash your windows.
Wash our windows. And the drainage.
Yes, and drainage, and walk behind here. But also, thirdly, this gorgeous Hicks yew. You seldom in Oklahoma see them this large. This gorgeous Hicks yew then has enough air circulation on the backside so it doesn't get reflected heat off of the brick wall and die on that backside. More of a hint of this blue-gray with some blue fescue here. Some more blue-gray creeping junipers. I just love that variety.
What's the variety?
What is that variety?
Blue rug.
Blue rug, that's right. And that's one of the happiest blue rugs I've ever seen, because a lot of times it is not nearly that beautiful. Yes, yes, Stuart.
I like that.
This little jellyfish. So tell us about this.
Well, this was another estate sale find, and I brought it in the house and I hung it up, and I never thought about it being a jellyfish. And one of my daughters walked in and she went, "You have a jellyfish? I want your jellyfish."
And it's a winch, it's a wind chime too. So what is this?
I do not know. A friend gave it to us. She didn't care for it in her garden. And so Bill went over there and he dug it up and moved it here. Another moving place.
I need a bill.
Yes.
I need a bill. Well, you have lots of things in here that are gifts from
people,
others.
Friends.
Okay, now this is one of our favorite redbuds, isn't it? Tell us about this.
Yes, it's a rising sun redbud, and in the spring it'll have chartreuse leaves, kind of a corally, real pale coral color, and then some yellow. It's very colorful, and you can see it from Pennsylvania.
Oh my gosh. Pennsylvania is one of the major thoroughfares that runs just to the east of us. Now, one thing about this, and one reason I would probably employ them more extensively at my next home rather than the eastern redbud, is this doesn't flower real heavily, which means it also doesn't get a lot of those nasty seed pods that do go everywhere and can be kind of annoying. But the advantages of this are the fact that it's got beautiful, colorful leaves and foliage, and it's really a four-season plant. And it's got a little bit more of a narrower profile that then comes up and turns into an umbrella form after it gets a little bit taller.
Well,
so
I understand as it grows larger that our dynamics are going to change because we'll have more shade.
yes, absolutely, but you can adapt so easily. And that's another thing about a small garden. It doesn't take that much to accommodate changing conditions. And I love the fact that this wall gives an opportunity for cascading plants to really shine, like that blue rug juniper and some of these succulents, and really anything that also then softens the garden and really creates a lovely kind of romantic element, I think, an aged element, because you've not been here very long.
No.
And the fact that those things flow over the side makes it look instantly mature. The thing that I love about Sunshine Ligustrum, you can whack that back just like your Silverado apples or your Russian sage, you can whack that back in the summer and it comes back even more beautifully with that chartreuse color. And then help me with some plant IDs, folks. I believe this is leopard's bane. You and I were asking, trying to think about it. I believe it's leopard's bane, but whatever it is, it's getting ready to bloom just beautifully.
We had no idea that it would bloom. We just thought it was just some form of greenery to go in here. But the spots, they're not sunspots.
Now, Janie and Bill are friends after my own heart because they love to forage items in nature. And so you will find elements of driftwood, beautiful stones. And this looks like some kind of carex, maybe Everillo. That's a southern living plant. And then we come to season number 3. Are we on 3?
This is 3. This is a fall because it's the grape harvest.
Love
Getting
it.
ready for the wine season.
And did I ask you where you got these?
You know, they came as with the garden. What else can I say?
And then now Roger found Roger, our mutual friend, found the missing season.
Yes, I kept trying to ask him to steal one from one of their other clients, but he didn't do that.
Well, what kind of friend is that? What kind of friend is that?
How could you be with just 3 seasons?
So you've got a wonderful two-tour here that has both a Nelly Mosier and that's in bloom now, and a Henry Eye that's not in bloom, the white.
That's right. It's in the spring, but it's, you know, we've got more buds coming, and we do have a photograph of this blooming in the snow.
Oh my
With
gosh,
the snow
you're
on the
kidding!
ground. No.
Oh, how fabulous. Well, the thing is, you can see that a lot of this stuff still is very much, you know, got some sunstroke from the horrific summer that we had, but her garden looks amazing. It was very well tended during that heat spell, which is another virtue of a small garden. And then you've got, this is some kind of spirea. What's it called?
Yes, I think it's a cut leaf.
I love this.
I think it's a cut leaf, and actually in the spring, it's a lot paler color too, more of a chartreuse, but it's darkened as we've come into the fall.
And then I love the blue-green, and this looks like some kind of panacea.
Do you know what that is?
It's some kind of pine tree, and you know when you can find them? Here's another tip, you guys. You can find these in places like Home Depot and Lowe's at Christmas time because they sell them in small pots as small Christmas trees. And you can go ahead and plant them outside. I recognize this variety for that very reason, and it looks beautiful with this pencil plant, looks like some kind of sedge or something, that blue-green. You've got a kalanchoe or a kalanchoe, depending on how you pronounce it. Love this, love the way you've got it mulched with these big stones. If you don't want to have to bend over, you just use a plant stand.
That's right.
To hold your water bucket.
And as we get older, we want to bend less and less.
Yes, and you and I both have back issues. So that is definitely a way to protect your back, especially when it's full. It's light now, not so much a problem, but it keeps you from, just, there you go. Boom. So there's just so many different things. Here's another great idea to steal. She's got probably what was originally a letter basket. She's got it here with her gloves. I need to get you some Cool Job gloves. I love them. I've been working with that company. Love their gloves. I will get you a pair. The texture of baskets. I have to look. Do you have anything hidden in there? More garden tools. More garden tools. Very clever storage.
Ooh, I like this.
And then the St. Francis.
He was, when we lived in Shawnee, we wanted one of these St. Francis from Santa Fe. And so Bill called the artist, Ben Ortega, who's since passed away. He put it on a bus and sent it to us and said, then you can send me the money.
Okay, that is, yes, that speaks to how much people trust
change,
Oklahomans. That's one of my favorite things in your garden. That is so dear. Do you ever get little wrens in there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We've seen some wrens around, so maybe.
So maybe. And then your love of these pepper.
Roger brought those last fall from Santa Fe.
Santa Fe, yes. This is one of the things what are these called?
Ristas.
Ristas? Okay,
Ristas.
that name always escapes me. This is one of those things people
And
from
they'll last
Oklahoma always
forever.
pick up. Yes.
And then when
Dried
it
chili
rains and
peppers.
it gets a little wet, you get that fresh chili
Smell. Anything that can remind us of Santa Fe, right? And then you have autumnalized with some faux corn here. And that looks
That is real corn dryer, and all those corns came from Taos, New Mexico.
I want a corn dryer.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's on my list of something to look for next time I go thrifting or estate sale shopping. And I may have to look for one of those on eBay because I adore that. A corn dryer.
When I first had it
cool.
or bought it was all blue corn.
Oh, wow.
The blue corn,
Which would look incredible with your
yes.
blue. And let's point out some more of her love of blue here. You've got little marbles here. You've got more blue pottery. You've got blue pillows. You've got more touches of blue, which also kind of parodies the blue-gray that you've got in your garden in various different ways. Okay, here's another idea to steal. Are we on 5, 6? I don't know how many ideas we've got for you guys to steal out here. So probably the concrete was original. And then you and John and Roger extended it out here.
No, it was here.
Oh, this was here.
And then John is really wanting us to dye this concrete.
I
here.
think so too, yeah.
So
I can see
that's
that.
in the future. That will
But
come.
he brilliantly took out some of these, because they're just soft set, some of these bricks along here, and planted in the void 2 cross vines, one here and one here. And look at how well they're doing.
They do beautiful. I mean, if you want crossvine, it seeds and comes up everywhere.
Which is both of a good thing and a bad
It
thing.
is a good thing and a bad thing.
Depending on where you want it. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, you said you had 3 or 4 Nelly Stevens
We had 4
hollies?
Nelly Stevens, 2 on each side of the statue and the bird bath. But that winter, they all died, plus we had 2 or 3 over here. So we had to replace. And since this magnolia was already here and doing so well, we just replaced the Nelly Stevens with these, which really gives us more room to plant in front.
More room to plant in the foreground. And also, was it espaliered when it was here, or did you do that yourselves?
It was espaliered when we bought it, but we have had to train it because it's grown considerably. Yes.
That's one thing. Espaliers are labor intensive. You do have to stay on top of them, but there would be no better spot for a highly intensive plant than in a small courtyard garden. And then, because you get some washout,
Yes.
because of the elevation of the dirt, you have used lots of a very Oklahoma, iconic Oklahoma thing, which we just went hunting for some more yesterday. We have a little scout group of us, yes, that we go out and we scout for beautiful things in nature, and one of them are these fabulous rose rocks. And so you have those are just quintessentially Oklahoma. They're very expensive, or can be very expensive if you buy them in a rock and gem store. But Roger, our friend's brother, lives in
Noble,
in Rose Rock heaven.
Yes.
And another columnar oak tree. I think it's an English oak. I could be wrong. If I am, someone out there will correct me. But I'm really developing an affection for columnar trees. I just really love their profile. And then this is probably, before we finish this corner, a good place to kind of start ending.
It's spring with a wheat harvest.
Spring. So we actually went front to back. We kind of went in the wrong order. We're ending up with spring, but that's okay. And it's nestled in another gorgeous holly with more evergreens over here, boxwood, more Indian hawthorn, and these beautiful yopons, which I do love yopons. Talk again, another example of romancing the ordinary, the way they're limbed up. These are tough in Oklahoma, and they replaced 2 more of those.
Yes.
Those lost Nelly Stevens.
And our plan is, that these will grow together, and more jasmine on the fence, so it'll give us more privacy.
And you'll feel completely like this is an intimate space. And then another fabulous yucca in a blue pot with some more ground covers, yarrow, maybe some more of that Southern Living sedge over here. We've got some purple oxalis and some yarrow. And then you and I were talking about this. I find this to be, I know in other places it grows like a weed, but this is a climbing hydrangea. And I've tried multiple times. I've never been able to get it established. I just didn't have the right microenvironment.
Does it bloom?
Oh yeah,
Well,
it will
it's never
bloom
bloomed
beautifully.
here.
Yeah. Well, maybe it just is a question
It needs to mature more.
maturity. So this is just an example of how much art, personality, signature touches, geographical references that you just love so much that you can fit into a small courtyard garden, and you have done it brilliantly, Miss Maximalista. And again, I just want to emphasize, if maximalist isn't your style, you could do the same thing in a minimalist way, but it gives you the luxury of being able to grow more high maintenance plants, sometimes more interesting plants, because you are not being a slave to the lawnmower, to watering, to things like that, because you don't have lawn and you don't have a bunch of just common shrubs. It's absolutely brilliant. So, signing off from Janie Dupree, my buddy. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we did.
Thank you. And Stuart, it's good to see your face.